John and I made this decision. We did this from a very personal perspective. We did it because we wanted our marriage to count. Never did we think it would turn into something that would impact the entire United States.
Jim Obergefell, a Cincinnati man suing for the right to be listed as the husband on the death certificate of his late partner. Obergefell, part of 6 cases from 4 states, suing against voter-approved same-sex marriage bans, and that whole question now heads to the Supreme Court. Justices will hear arguments April 28th, with a decision expected in June. As the plaintiffs prepare, one organization is fighting for the defense of traditional marriage and just completed a press conference in Washington, D.C. For more on the story, let's bring in the founder of that organization, Matt Staver, the founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, who joins us from Newsmax, Washington. Matt, you co-authored the Pledge in Solidarity to Defend Marriage. What is the purpose of that pledge?
Well, the purpose of it is to bring people of all faiths together, and I co-drafted it being an evangelical Christian with a Catholic Christian, Deacon Keith Fournier, and people of the Orthodox Christian faith, Jewish faith, Catholics, Protestants, leaders from around the country, Franklin Graham, to other Orthodox priests and others from around the country have come together to pledge our unity with respect to marriage. Marriage is ontologically and objectively the union of a man and a woman. It predates all forms of civil government. Though it may be affirmed by civil government and affirmed by religion, it was not created by government or religion. It is what it is. It's the union of a man and woman. It's the very building block of our society. And now this issue is before the United States Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court were to rule that there's a so-called right to same-sex marriage in our Constitution, it would go so far off the Constitution from the rule of law that that kind of a decision should not and cannot be respected, particularly because if it were to make that ruling, it would fundamentally change the culture of our society. It would go against the natural created order of marriage as the union of a man and woman, and it would collide specifically and immediately and directly with religious freedom, because history and experience have shown us, and we state this in the Marriage Pledge, which can be found at defendmarriage.org, that whenever civil government attempts to redefine the definition of marriage to something that it cannot be, to people of the same sex as marriage, then it has a direct collision with religious freedom. If you're Arlene Flowers, then you're being forced not to be silent, but to participate in affirmed same-sex marriage. If you're a photographer, you're being forced to participate and celebrate same-sex marriage. If you're the founder of Chick-fil-A and you even express your belief that marriage is the union of a man and woman, you're no longer able to have your Chick-fil-A's in either Chicago or Washington, D.C. or on college campuses. So this is a very coercive movement. It's a very coercive agenda that has a direct collision with religious freedom. We're not picking a fight. We're not wanting controversy, but this is a line that we have pledged together
and
that
Matt,
we cannot
mindful of that,
and will not cross.
Pardon the interruption, but only about a minute remains. We saw where Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum have signed on to your pledge. Do you expect other presidential candidates to sign the pledge as well?
We're going to ask every presidential candidate, Republican and Democrat, to sign under this pledge, and it's going to be very telling if they don't. We believe that we have an imperative moment in our history. We're not looking for just mere numbers, however. We're looking for people who will stand together and pledge together that with regards to marriage, we come together in unity, the building block of our society, and we will not idly stand by while it's deconstructed and allow the Supreme Court to allow this to collide with religious freedom. That's our stand. That's a line that we cannot cross.
And Matt Staver, we should note for the record that Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal just published an op-ed in the New York Times saying he will stand firm against gay marriage. So obviously, a lot of conservatives are listening to what you at Liberty Counsel has to say and listening to many of their constituents. Matt Staver, we thank you very much for your time checking in from Newsmax, Washington.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Now, some exciting news again, a change next week, Tuesday night. This program moves to 8 p.m. with a new name, Newsmax Prime. Since we'll be in prime time, join us 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It'll repeat at 11 Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific as well. One more day of America's Forum next Monday. Newsmax Now is coming up. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.